Hi class, my name is Brittany Kearney, and today I want to talk to you about destigmatizing mental illness. How many of you are aware of the lack of mental health truths? Not stigmas or theories, but actual truths. Have you ever had a loved one, friend, or maybe yourself stigmatized when it came to a mental health issue? Where you or someone you know has been treated a certain way based on your diagnosis label and not as you or them as an individual. I have. When I was young, I was diagnosed with multiple disorders, only to find out later that they weren't accurate. The diagnosis were based on a version of my symptoms instead of a full analysis of them. I wasn't listened to, I wasn't heard. This will go into my health charts where other clinic staff, teachers, and counselors will be able to view it. This caused some mistreatment in the handling of me at school and at clinics, with my peers as well as some of the professionals. Well, I felt judged. This caused me to regress in more than just my symptoms, but also in other areas of my life, such as my education. I would shy away from class due to feeling I was not being listened to or heard, or I felt like I was being judged, which caused my grades to fall behind. One teacher went as far as to say, "Here she comes. Now don't do anything that might set her off," when I was within hearing distance in front of the whole class. So what did I do? I chose not to go to class. I would sit somewhere quiet where there would no one be able to bother me, and I would read books. Just read as much as I can. Immerse myself into reading so that I wouldn't feel like the world that was supposed to be realistic wasn't realistic, but a fantasy world based off of people who did not understand or even know who I was as an individual and didn't want to take the time to. So today I'll be going over the problem of stigmatization on mental health as well as solutions on how to fix it. We each can contribute to more permanent solutions of ridding the world of stigmas. A need for this to stop is not a small problem. To me, this is a global catastrophe. The need for us all worldwide to have a universal understanding, even if we are not in agreement, on mental illnesses is very important to the well-being of individuals who have disorders or that have someone close to them who has a disorder. There is the DSM-5, which is a very logical and actual book that many in the medical field refer to in diagnosing medical illnesses. Even though this has been around for years, the misunderstanding of the stigmatizing has not decreased. This has caused many to be afraid of people with mental illnesses or not understand them, or when they did know them, they had inaccurate information, so there was no way to either help them or I feel like they had a way to point them in the right direction to get help. So a lot of us with disorders have been hurt, devalued, and even cast aside. Why? Because of misunderstandings, inaccuracies, theories, stigmas. It's all in the works, but nothing is working. So how do we fix this problem? Well, you can find examples of all kinds of stigma everywhere. You can find it in school, work, even just small places like at a restaurant. People look at someone, and if they feel they're strange or maybe different or weird, they may cast them aside or look upon them warily. So an example of this can be found in an article called The Lancet that speaks of how stigmatizing mental illness can be detrimental to the progression of curing mental illnesses. It states many people with mental illness experience shame, ostracism, and marginalization due to their diagnosis and often describe the consequences of mental health stigma as worse than the condition itself. This is a very important problem. Stigma, prejudice, and discrimination against people with mental illness can be subtle or it can be obvious, but no matter the magnitude, it can lead to harm, quotes The Lancet. To me, once again, this is a global catastrophe. Studies have shown about 3 in 4 young teens seeking information online about depression said they were looking for personal anecdotes from people who have suffered in the past. Well, a 2020 survey of 14 to 22-year-olds found that 90% of teens and young adults experience symptoms of depression are researching mental health issues online, and most are accessing other people's health stories through blogs, podcasts, and videos. So if they feel they're being stigmatized, why would they search for help? Another one. Who's affected? Well, there's many people who's affected. Everyone is affected. From the individuals who encounter stigmas for personal reasons, such as having an illness themselves, to the individuals trying to help individuals with illnesses. Some with illnesses back away from help because of the stigmas, which can cause regression and progress towards getting better. And those who try to help individuals with illnesses can regress too by their inability to help all those who feel like they want to be helped. A 2017 study that involved more than 200 individuals with a mental illness over a period of 2 years found that a greater self-stigma was associated with poorer recovery from mental health illnesses after 1 to 2 years. And another one, a 2019 national report from the American Psychiatric Association, APA, found that mental health stigma is still a major challenge in the workplace. So how can we focus on steps to fix this? Well, there are solutions. One of them is found in a research that showed great results. It says knowing someone who has mental illness is a great way to reduce stigma. You get to learn these people on a more personal level. And when we look online for research, it can vary or be versatile, which can cause misunderstandings, and it could cause miscommunication in the way it's advertised or the way it's marketed. So, how can we implement these actions? Listen to individuals with illnesses. Even if we do not have time to listen ourselves, point them in the right direction so where they will be listened to, with someone with a clear mind and a non-judgmental attitude. If there are stigmas out there, research the proper material and validate the stigmas and validate the truth. Make it understandable. Learn more about mental illnesses, even if you or anyone you love or is close to doesn't have it. Be an advocate for the voices that may be afraid to speak out of fear of being misunderstood or labeled. If we all come together worldwide to make clear what it is and feels like to have mental illnesses without demonizing, without categorizing, or without stigmatizing, our world will be much better off. Individuals seeking help will not be afraid to come forward and say, "Hey, I need help." And we will be able to take some well-intentioned individuals and give them the chance to make something of themselves as well as others, which will contribute to a more better and brighter world for us all. If we choose to ignore the problems of stigmatizing, a lot of individuals will be left untreated and have worsening symptoms, which will cause a rise in many areas of crimes, including but not limited to one of the most controversial, crimes against themselves when committing suicide. Statistics have shown that many individuals, diagnosed and undiagnosed, have fallen victim to their own destruction by their own hand, due to not coming forward to ask for help or coming forward, being stigmatized, and committing suicide to ease the pain of not feeling wanted or welcome in a world that was meant for us all. So today we went over the problems of stigma, the effects they have on us all, and solutions to fix this problem. Reach out, research, and have an open mind. Change the fantasy that the stigmas created to realities with valid proof and sound logic. Knowledge is power, and we can all use it to fix many of our problems today. But the one we are focused on today is destigmatizing mental illness. I hope each of you listening takes this to heart. Extend your hand and open your hearts and mind, and give an individual who may feel lost and lonely in this world a chance to be heard. It might just save a life. That is all for now. I hope you really try to look into the stigmas yourself and arm yourselves with knowledge and truth. Thank you, and that is all.